fundamentals of internet and the World Wide Web, and we also touched on a brief introduction to JavaScript, and we looked at the concept of syntax, and we looked at the concept of variables, and we looked at 3 ways which we can declare variables, and we also created a basic program which was able to print the text on the console, as well as adding 2 numbers and printing the sum of the 2 numbers. So today what I want us to do is to advance on what we've done yesterday and proceed to looking at JavaScript operators. So as you know, this lesson is mostly practical based, and so if you are very fast that you can be able to code with me as I explain, then you can do that. But I suggest that if you have a book and a pen somewhere, maybe you take notes on key points and then you follow the instructions on how I'm doing it. Then after the lesson, you can now go and take your time and practice what we've done and even add more. Okay, so the first thing is to pick the instructions and the concept. That's why in our notes I have put step-by-step instructions on how to do anything that we've done. So I want us to look at the concept of operators. And what is an operator? A JavaScript operators are used to perform different types of mathematical and logical operations or computations on the data. For example, you want to add 2 numbers, or you want to compare 2 values to see which one is greater and which one is less, or you want to maybe perform some logical operations to determine if this value is equal to this and this value is equal to this. Maybe you have 2 conditions you want to evaluate to see if both of them are met, or if one of them is met. All right, so in that case we have different types of operators which are used for different types of operations. Okay, so some of them here we're going to look at today are the arithmetic operators, the assignment operators, we have comparison operators, and the logical operators. So let's look at each one of them one by one and take examples in a code and see how we can implement that in code. So the arithmetic operators are those operators that are used to perform the normal mathematical calculations. For example, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. So we have this operator called the modulus. Then we have this operator called, which is written in plus plus double plus, which means increment, and then we have this one which means decrement. So let's take an example of all these operators and see how they work. Because of that, I will turn back to the Visual Studio, and this is the program we had created yesterday. What I'm going to do is to delete this content, all right, and I'm going to leave the 2 variables x equal to 10 and y equals to 5, and here let's look at these arithmetic operators one by one. So we look at the first one, which is the addition operator. So what it does is that it adds 2 numbers. So we can have another variable here called constant sum. All right, constant sum. Is my computer hanging a bit? Okay, constant sum is equals to, we access the variable x, then we add it to the variable y, and that will give us the sum. So we are using this operator plus sign here to do the operation. The operation we are doing here is addition. The next kind of operator is the minus, which simply subtracts the two numbers. So we can have another variable called const, and we can call it difference. Some constant difference is equals to x. We use the operator minus y. All right, and that should give us the difference between the two values. We can have another variable here, const division, and this we can have x, and we use the division symbol, and that is the division symbol divided by y. So this will give us the result of dividing the two values. The last variable, we can have another variable called multiplication, equals to x times. So the symbol of multiplication is the asterisk key on your keyboard. So when you look on your keyboard, you will see an asterisk symbol, a star symbol, which is above the number 8. So you press shift and then that key 8, and you're going to get this value, this symbol, and that is multiplication symbol times y. So we are saying x times y, we get the result and store it in mult variable. Then the last one here is the modulus. So we can have another variable, we call it modulus, is equals to x modulus y. And what is a modulus? A modulus is an operator which is used to retain the remainder after dividing two values. So when we divide x divided by y, we know the remainder is 0. So the remainder will be 0. But let's say the value of y here is 6. Okay, so let's say the value of y is 6, and therefore if the value of y is 6, we know that 10 divided by 6 is equals to 1, remainder 4. So the value that will be returned here after doing modulus will be 4. So let us print each one of these values here on the console to see the actual results. So we are going to say here the sum of x and y is, and then we access the variable sum because it is the one that is holding the value of sum. I'm going to copy this same line of code and paste it 4 times. Alright, paste another one below here and here and here. So then I'm going to say the difference of x and y is, we access the value diff, and then the multiplication or the division, the division of x by y is equals to the value diff, and then the multiplication of x and y is equals to the value multiplication, mult. And then lastly, the modulus of x by y is, so we're going to say access the value modulus. And therefore let's run this program, and before you run you have to save. So I am going to click Ctrl S, or alternatively you can navigate to file and then click save. So after you have saved your changes, you now come to your console and make sure you have navigated to the folder where this file is saved. So this file called hello JavaScript, we saved it on the desktop. So we want to make sure that what is appearing here is the desktop and not admin. So we're going to do cd desktop and we press enter. Now we are in the folder desktop. Then we are going to do node, because we said node is the one that we use to run it provides the environment for running the JavaScript code. So we use node and then the file name which contains the code hello world. Not hello world. My computer is hanging. Let me delete this. I think it is because there's a file being uploaded on WhatsApp. Let me close WhatsApp. Yes, Thomas, you are raising your hand. Thomas, do you have a question or you're okay?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, so I saw your hand up. All right. So when you are in desktop, then you can now do node, then the file name which is hello JavaScript, .js, that is the file name. Then press enter. So you can see that this program runs, and on the console here you can see we are able to print the sum. So you can see the sum of 10 and 6 is 16.
Hello, teacher.
Hello. Hello, Aisha.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, when I open my Visual Code,
Uh-huh.
how do I connect with Node?
Once you have installed Node and you open your Visual Studio, you don't have to do any connection. Automatically, Visual Studio will detect that Node is installed. So when you open your command prompt like this and type Node, it will automatically be detected on the system. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So you try that. In case of any challenge, just tell us and share your screen. Alright, so after doing this, you can see that the results are being displayed here. So we have the sum is 16, the difference is 4, the division here, we are dividing x by y is 1.66667, then the multiplication of x and y is 60, then the modulus of x and y is 4. So the modulus is the remainder after dividing two numbers. Then the last two arithmetic operators are the increment and the decrement. So what do this mean? The increment increases a value by 1, while the decrement decreases a value by 1. So let us take an example, a practical example in a code. So here we are going to have, after this, I'm going to have another value here, another variable called, let me have a variable called let b equals to maybe 9. All right. So I've created a variable, I've declared a variable b, assigned the value 9 to it, and then below this I'm going to console .log and say the value of b before, the value of b after increment. increment means addition, right? Simple terms, it means addition. So here I'm going to put 9. Then I'm going to have another line and console and say console.log the value of b uh, after decrement. So decrement means to decrease. After decrement is, again I say b. Here I don't want to say 9, instead I want to say b. So then uh, after declaring the variable b and assigning the value 9 to it, below here I'm going to increment the value of b by 1. So one way I could do that is to say b is equals to b plus 1. That is one way I can do that. But instead of doing that, I can alternatively say b plus plus. So when I say b plus plus, it will increment the value is stored in b by 1. So the value in b will increase from 9 to 10, and therefore when you print it here after increment, we expect it to be 10 instead of 9. Then after printing it, I'm also going to decrement. So I'm going to say b minus minus, or maybe let me leave this out here. Let's first of all run the first line, the first console, to see how it appears. So when you save your changes and restart by typing node then the application name, you can see that the value of b, where is it appearing here? The value of b after increment is 10, which is right below here. The value of b after increment is 10. So we have incremented by 1. So instead of increment, let's now change it to decrement. So when we say minus minus, it means we are decreasing the value of b by 1. So here, let me say and comment now this, and then remove this. Alright. So when you save and run again, you can see now the value of b after the decrement is now becoming 8. So initial value is 9. When we use minus minus, it will decrease this value by 1, and therefore it becomes 8 when printed out here. So guys, this is all about the arithmetic operators, and that's a simple illustration we have used to demonstrate how you can use them and where you can possibly use them in your program, and what do they mean and what results do they give. So otherwise, unless you have a question to ask about arithmetic operators, you can ask before we proceed.
No question.
Yes, question. Oh, you don't have a question out, Aisha?
Yeah, I don't question.
Alright. So we proceed to the next type of operator called the arithmetic, not arithmetic, but rather the assignment operators. Alright. So the assignment operator is an operator that is used to assign a value to a variable. And we've already seen one of it, which is the equal symbol. So here in our code, allow me to go back and delete these variables which demonstrates the uh, addition operators, or I mean the arithmetic operators. So allow me to remove this and even remove this and remove out this. So one of the arithmetic, one of the assignment operator that we've already looked at is this symbol here with equal sign. What is it used for? For assigning a value to a variable. So here we have a variable called x, and we are using this operator to assign 10 to the variable x. That's one of it. The other assignment operator is where you are assigning while at the same time doing the addition. For example, here instead we could have a variable and say another variable, let z equals to, or let x again, or rather we can come and say x is equals to plus, then we say x, y here. So what this does is that when we put a plus before an equal sign, it means that first of all we are taking the value x and adding it to y. After getting the result, we assign that result back again to x. Alright, and if you follow along on the tutorial here on where I've directed you to go and follow along, you can see a practical example here. So here we have the value x is equals to 10 plus y, and then here we have this kind of operation here. So we have x, first of all x is initialized to 10, then we have x then plus equal 5. So what we are doing here is that we are first of all adding the initial value of x to 5, making it 15. Then we assign the value 15 to x. Alright, so if you go back to our code, and here let us try to print the value of x now. So when we say console dot log, we say the new value of x is, and then we give the value refer to x. Alright, so let us try to run that program and see the result, which will be the output there. So I'm going to do the console, clear it first, and then I'm going to say node, and then the file name which contains the code. So you can see now it tells you the new value.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I don't know why this node is not connecting with my Visual Code. But can I use Ubuntu instead of Node?
Can you use?
Ubuntu.
Can it be able to run JavaScript code successfully?
Yeah.
And you can use it.
But you are going to have two bus.
We are going to have to
Two different bus. So
uh,
Ubuntu is not in the Visual Code.
oh, okay, so let me pause here. Can you mind sharing your screen? I see
Yeah.
how you are doing it on your end. Maybe I can stop sharing for a minute. Share yours. Aisha, are you in a position to share your screen? Hello, Aisha.
Yes, I can share.
Yes, maybe you can share and then we see where it has issues.
Okay. Sorry, I was using the phone.
Okay.
This is my facial code.
Okay, I can see it. Alright, so where is the JavaScript file? I can see you have one HTML file, index.html. Create another file, call it something.js. Okay. Alright. So type any of the JavaScript code there, maybe console.log something. So in bracket, the sum of should be between the quotation marks. It's a string.
Oh, comma comes after or before the quotation mark.
After the quotation mark.
Shall I say plus?
Yes.
There.
Okay. So now run that code and let's see what happens. So
If I want to run the code, I will use the 5 server.
you use the live server.
Yeah,
Okay. So now what I
but I
want.
want the node to be here.
Alright. So what I want you to do now is to use the node to run this code.
Mm-hmm.
So you can now go to your terminal. So you see above there is file tab, edit, and then view, run. So we have the three dots.
Where? Here.
The three dots on top. On top. You see
Oh, here.
where we have yeah, there. Click new terminal.
Do I need to type here?
Yeah, just wait for it to load. I think it's still loading the directory. Yes. Now type node and then the file name that you want to run, the file name that contains that code. It is index.js.
Why is it bringing Ubuntu here?
No, it is just showing the path, the directory where your project folder is. So somewhere on your computer you have
Can I delete this Ubuntu first?
Ubuntu. Here is not really the operating system, but rather it is the folder where your project is.
I created a folder using this.
Which one?
I thought this one. I said create new folder, then I saved it in the desktop.
You saved on desktop. You see the file that we are doing right now, the one we are coding in
Yeah,
index.js. I can see it is in the folder operators, right?
your voice is breaking.
I'm saying that file index.js,
Mm.
I can see it is in the folder.
Index.js. This
Yes,
one.
yes, it is within the folder called operators. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So on your terminal, just type node and then the file name. Let's see if it runs or it does not run.
Shall I write index.js?
Yes,
Oh,
index.js. Yeah, so it runs successfully and it prints the
yeah.
sum of x and y is 16. That means that node is okay. It is connected to your VS Code.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other question? Good.
No, I'm good.
All right. So let us proceed. All right. Welcome back, Aisha. So we proceed at looking at the next set of operator, which we said is the assignment operator. So our example was at where we are doing addition at the same time assigning a value. So you can see in this example, first we have a variable called x equals to 10, and then we come below on line 5 and say x plus equal y. That means that first of all we are going to take the value x, we add it to y, then we assign back the result to x, and therefore you can see when we print x here, we get on the console here x is 16 because 10 plus 6, that is 16. We can as well do subtraction and assignment at the same time. So we can have minus equal, which means that first we are subtracting x minus y, then assigning this value to x. So again, when we print the new value of x here on the console, you're going to see that the new value of x is 4. Alternatively, again, we can do multiplication and assignment at the same time. So here, instead of using minus, we can use multiplication symbol, which is an asterisk symbol. So what we are saying here, we first say x times y, then assign the multiplication result to x. So when we print again the new value of x, you will see that on your console.
Hi. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
We were learning operators. Now what are we learning?
come again.
I was we were learning operators.
Yes,
Now I'm confused like x multiplied by 6 equals to y. What are we learning here?
it is still operators.
Oh, after increment, right? And decrement.
Yes, so we have already done, we have 4 types of operators. Okay,
Arithmetic.
arithmetic operators, which are plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, increment, and decrement. Then
Mm-hmm.
we have another type of operators, which is the assignment operators, which include these ones: the equal sign, plus equal, minus equal, multiplication equal, division equal, and so on. Then we have the next type of operators called the comparison operators, okay, which includes all these that I've
Yeah.
listed here. Then we have the last category of operators called the logical operators, which include this one and this one and this other one here. So we have already looked at all the arithmetic operators, and now we are looking at the assignment operators. Okay, and we said assignment operators are those operators that are used to assign a value to a variable. Okay, for example, here we have a variable x and we are assigning 10 to x using the operator equal sign. So this is an example of assignment operator. Okay, then we have another example of assignment operator where we are doing multiplication and assignment at the same time. So we first say x times y, then we assign the result to x. That's why you can see we have two combination here, multiplication and then assignment. Asha, are we flowing together?
No.
Yes, where are you left behind?
Do you mean this equal sign is the assignment, like 8 multiplied by then equal to y?
Yes.
Okay, so the computer knows that if I multiply a number then say it equal to before I give another number, does it give an answer?
If you say, for example, if you say what, let me tell me so that I can write here.
Like, okay, like 5 multiplied by
Mm-hmm.
equal to
Equals to
10.
10.
Yeah.
And then
Do I get a value there then? Because before the multiplication, I already concluded and said equal to without giving a number there.
yeah, so 5 here has to be a variable. It has to be a variable that is holding something. So if you come here and say, unless you're going to take these values the way they are, so the key thing is that 5 here has to be a variable which is declared somewhere here. So you must have a variable somewhere declared, let maybe 5 equals to the value maybe 10. And you see you cannot use the values. So we already have this one here, so you cannot use the numbers as variable names. So that's why we are saying that here we have the value 10 assigned to variable x. Then when we come and say x multiplication equals to y, then it is like we are doing, it is the same as saying x is equal to x times y. So that is the same thing. This line of code and this line of code is the same. Alright, Aisha. Hello.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yeah, teacher.
Alright. So now when you print x, you will see that the new value of x here is 60 because 10 times 6 gives you 60. Then if you use a combination of maybe division and equal, then you are going to say that x divided by y, then the result you assign it back to x and then you print the value of x. So when you save this and run again the program, you can see that the new value of x again becomes 1.666 and then 7. The same thing, you can use a combination of modulus and equal sign. So when we use modulus and equal sign, we are going to get the modulus when dividing the two numbers, and then we assign that modulus to this variable here. So we're going to, when we save the changes here and we rerun, we can see now that the new value of x is 4. The new value of x is 4. So in summary, the assignment operators, we have a number of them. So we have equal sign, then we have plus equal, then we have minus equal, we have multiplication equal, we have division equal, we have modulus equal. So these are all examples of assignment operator. The first one just assigns a value to it. These other ones, they first do the operation, like for example plus here, they get the result, then assign that result to the variable which is on the left hand side. So that is just as simple as that.
Yes, sir.
Losing connection. Bye. Bye me later. See 1 GB for 1.2 GB. Ah yeah. Bye. Ah yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yes, sorry, I had lost my connection.
All right, welcome back.
Alright, thank you. So I was explaining and summarizing on the concept of uh, the assignment operators. I don't know where I dropped off. Maybe if there's somewhere I dropped before you guys understanding the concept. Okay. Alright, so if we are all together, then we look at the next set of operator. At least today we finish with operators, and then we can meet again on the next lesson. So the next set of operators is the comparison operators, and these operators are used to compare between the two values. So you could want to compare maybe to see if the two values are equal, or if one is less than the other, or if one is greater than the other, or if the one is not equal to the other. So we use it to compare between two values. And a good example here, if you go back to our code, maybe we can have, I will still retain the two values. And here I have the value x equals to 10, y equals to 6. So let us use the comparison operators to compare whether x is equals to y, or it is greater, or it is less. Alright? So I'm going to use the if statement, although we have not looked at that, but I will use it here to demonstrate the concept of comparison operators. So here I'm going to say if x equals to y. So here I'm using this operator double equal sign to compare between x and y to see if they are equal. And therefore if it is equal, I want to log and say console dot log and say x is equal to y. Alright, else let me print the else part here and say console dot log x is not equal to y. So we know very well that 10 is greater than y and it is not equal to y, which is 6. So let us test and run this program and see what will happen when we run this. So we are using the comparison operator equals to compare between the two values. So what I'm going to do, I want to clear this console so that I can have it cleared out and run the new one. So I'm going to say node node then hello Java script .js. So when you run this program, you will see that on the console here the text is printed saying x is not equal to y. Why? Is because when we run this program, it tests this condition to see if it is equal. If it is not equal, then it will jump to this else part of it here. So we are simply using this comparison operator to compare between x and y. Welcome to the class, Samuel. Aisha, are we together?
Yes.
Good. Then the next set of comparison operator is greater than. So let us check if x is greater than y. So if we want to test for greater than, which operator would we use? So we use the symbol greater than to demonstrate and compare. So when we use this symbol, it is an operator which is used to determine whether this value on the left is greater than this value on the right. So if it is true, then we say x is greater than y. Else we can say x is not, or it is less than y. So now let's save the program and again run it. So you can see it tells you that x is greater than y, because we know that 10 is greater than 6. So it comes here and tests this condition and finds that this condition is met, it is true, and therefore if this condition is true, what instruction do we run? So we run this instruction here to print this value. The next comparison operator is the less than. So the less than operator here, we use this symbol, backward arrow. So here we are going, if it is less than, we say x is less than y, else x is not less than y. So let us save that. Again, when you run the program, you will see that it prints here x is not less than y, because 10 literally it is not less than 6. Alright, then we have another one which is greater than or equals to. So we want to test, here we are testing two conditions, either x is greater than y or x is equals to y. So let us make y here 10. So we know 10 is equals to 10, and therefore this, we expect this condition to be met. So we are saying here, if x is greater than y or if x is equals to y, that's why we're using a combination of both greater and equals. Then print this statement, else print this alternative statement. So here let us say x is equal or greater than y, else x is less than y. So let's save these changes. Then we are going to run again our program, and you can see that once it is run, the first statement is printed, showing that this condition has been met. Alright, this condition has been met. So you realize that every time you make changes to your code or to your program, you must actually save that program and then you restart it again, you run it again, so that the new changes can be picked up and run, compiled. So these are just a few examples of the comparison operators. So you can as well go on your own again and create a program of your choice and try to use all these comparison operators that we have looked at. So you can see there are more of them. So we have this an equal, this one is also an equal sign, but it compares the type as well as the value. This one, it means not equal. Then we have greater than symbol here, we have less than symbol, we have greater than or equal to, then we have less than or equal to. Unless you have a question on the comparison operators, then you can
What does triple equal to mean?
come again, Aisha.
What does triple equal mean?
Good question. Triple equal means that we are trying to check if these values are, let me come back to the code. So here we have something called the data type. We will look at it when we come to data type concept. Data type. So the double equal only combines the values stored there. So for example, if 10, it looks at these values 10 and 10. Once we use the triple, we are checking for both the values stored there and the type of that value. Type here can be, is the type number, is it a number, is it a string, or is it an array, or is it an object, or is it a big int, These are all examples of data types. So when we use a triple sign, it means that we are checking for both conditions. The values must be equal, and also the data type must be of the same type. So the concept of data types, we will look at it when we come to the next slide, the data types. Have I answered your question?
Yes.
All right. Any other query? All right. If there's no query, we look at the last type or the last category of logical operators. Then we can call it a class, and then we meet again on Monday because tomorrow is Sunday and we may not be able to meet. So the next category of operators are the logical operators. So what are these logical operators? The logical operators are those operators that are used to compare or determine some logical operations, and we have three of them. One is the logical OR, okay, the logical OR, which is demonstrated using the two vertical lines. Then we have the logical AND, which is demonstrated using the ampersand, the double ampersand symbol. Then we have the logical NOT, which is shown using the this quotation or exclamation, exclamation mark. All right. So let us take a practical example in our program to demonstrate the difference between these logical operators and where you might possibly use them. Okay. So I'm going to add another variable here, call it Z. So I'm going to add another variable, say let Z equals to maybe 15. Okay. Then I'm going to use the logical operator OR to determine something here and determine whether. So I'm going to say here x, if x equals to y, or x less than z. All right. Then print and say x is equal to or print and say x is equal or less than y. Else print and say x, or maybe print and say false. Just say false here. Okay. So yeah, when you look at this, we are testing two conditions. The first condition is that x equals to y or x less than y. So the way we use OR is using the vertical two lines. So if any of this condition is met, then this statement is executed. Else, if none of this condition is met, then we will come to this else part and this condition will be executed. So then when we save this program and run it here again, you can see that x is equal or less than y. It means that one of these conditions has been met. So that is how we use the OR operator to determine two conditions where either of the condition can be met. Either of the conditions can be met. The next logical operator is the AND. So when we use AND, it means that the two conditions must be met. So we are saying that if you try to read this condition here, you are saying if x is equals to y and x is less than z, x is less than z, then print and say x is equal to or less than z. So let us save that and print, and you can see it still meets the first condition. But let's make one condition false deliberately and see what the result will be. So here instead I'm going to make z equals to 9. So we know that x is 10, y is 10, z is 9. And here we know that x is equals to y because 10 is equals to 10. But x is not less than z because 10 is not less than 9. And therefore we expect this condition to fail. The first condition to fail. So we expect to print this alternative condition on the else part. So when you save that changes and then you run the program again, you can see that it tells you false, meaning that y is not, okay, x is equals to y, but x is not less than z. All right. Then the last logical operator is the logical NOT, and we use NOT using we demonstrate NOT operator using the exclamation mark. So here I'm going to remove this AND operator, and I'm going to say if x not equals to y. So we know that x is equals to y because 10 is equals to 10, but here we have used not to negate this condition, and therefore if we use not, then this condition is going to fail and we're going to print an alternative value here. So when we save the changes and run the program again, you see that we'll have false value printed here. So that's all about the logical operators. There are 3 of them: the logical OR, the logical AND, and the logical NOT. Unless someone has a question, you might ask where you have not understood.
It's clear.
All right, thank you. Okay, so if there's no any more question, then in summary today we have looked at operators. So at your own time you might take time and practice this in your Visual Studio. Just open Visual Studio and write any program to demonstrate arithmetic operators, to demonstrate assignment operators, the comparison operators, and the logical operators, just to fasten your skill on this. So then when we meet next, we will look at data types and the concept of functions. I wanted us to finish them today, but you can see most of the members have not attended, so that at least if they miss out, let them not miss out a lot of content. So when we meet again on Monday, the next meeting will be on Monday, the same time from 8 to 10, we will tackle the remaining part, so that by the mid of next week, we are done with JavaScript and we start on React. So we wish to pause here and we can call it a nice class, unless you have a challenge, but if not, then you can leave at your own time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I learned a lot.
Right. Babe.